Hello, this is Chloe. In this video, I'll be showing you how to crochet this mini pouch. You can use it for coins or any little things you have. So this is what it looks like all the way around. And here are the materials you will need. The materials you will need are some sock yarn. This project uses sock yarn. You can use some leftover sock yarn you have, but this is from Expression Fiber Arts. A 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, or G crochet hook. Since I could not find my 4.25 millimeter, I will be using a 4 millimeter crochet hook today. You will also need some scissors, a yarn needle. You might want to use a smaller one because we will also be using this for sewing the button on. A small button. And this last material is optional. You might want to have a stitch marker to mark where the beginning of each row is. So let's get started. To start off, we will take our yarn and make a magic circle. To do this, we will make an X on our finger, and then we will take our crochet hook and go into the first loop and then pull the second loop through the first loop. Then yarn over and pull through. Next, we will chain 1 and do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. To do a single crochet, you go into the stitch or magic loop and then yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and pull through both loops on your crochet hook. So we will do this 5 more times to get a total of 6 single crochets. Once you've done your 6 single crochets, we will slip stitch to the first stitch. So this is not the chain, this is the first single crochet. So go into both of those loops on the first single crochet. Then yarn over and pull through that loop to make a slip stitch. Now we will pull on the beginning tail to close up the hole that's in the middle. Now it should be a tiny little circle, something like this. After that, we will chain 1. Next, we will do 1 increase in each stitch for round 2. So to do an increase, you go into the stitch and then make a single crochet. And then you make another single crochet into that same stitch. So right here, whoops. Now if you would like to use a stitch marker, you can take your stitch marker and then open it up. And then mark the beginning of the first stitch of your round. So just put at the top 2 loops of that stitch. Whoops. There we go. And then you just do 1 increase into the last 5 stitches. And after we've done that, we will slip stitch to the first single crochet. So take your stitch marker out first then slip stitch to the first single crochet. And then if you would like to continue using your stitch marker, you would repeat what we did for the last round. So now for round 3, we will chain 1 and then do 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then an increase in the next stitch. Now it should look something like this. So just repeat this all the way around. After that, we will slip stitch to the first single crochet and chain 1. Now for round 4, we will do 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then an increase in the 3rd stitch. So repeat this around for round 4. Remember that at the end of each round, you should end off with an increase. So at the end of that, we will slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1. Now for round 5, we will do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then an increase in the next stitch, or 4th stitch. Repeat this around for round 5. After that, we will slip stitch to the first single crochet we made and chain 1. Now for round 6, or the last round of our base, we will do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then an increase into the next, or 5th stitch. So repeat this around for round 6. After that, we will slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1. Now we will start on the sides of our mini pouch. So for the first round of the sides, we will do 1 single crochet into each stitch, but the back loop only of each stitch. So you can see there are 2 loops on each stitch. We will only go in the back loop. So do 1 single crochet into the back loop of each stitch. Now after that, we will do a slip stitch into the first single crochet we made. We'll be doing this into both loops of that first single crochet. And then we will chain 1. Now to start round 2, we will do 1 half double crochet into each stitch around. So to do a half double crochet, you yarn over, go into the stitch, then yarn over and pull through that stitch, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your crochet hook. So we'll just repeat that in each stitch around. And be sure you're doing this into both loops of each stitch. After that, we will slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1 to start round 3 of the sides. Now for round 3, we'll just do 1 single crochet into each stitch around. After that, we will slip stitch to the first stitch and chain 1 to start round 4 of the sides. For round 4, we will repeat round 2 by doing 1 half double crochet into each stitch around. And after you've completed round 4, repeat rounds 3 and 4, which is this round we're doing now, and the last round we did, for a total of 4 more times. And then you'll be finished with the sides. After we have repeated rounds 3 and 4 more times, we'll begin on the flap of our mini pouch. To begin, we will slip stitch to the first half double crochet we created, and then chain 1. Next, we will do 1 single crochet into the next 19 stitches. After that, we will chain 1 and turn to begin row 2 of the flap. So this is what it should look like so far. There's just one row, which makes half of the pouch a little taller. So now for rows 2 to 4, we will just do 1 single crochet into each stitch. At the end of row 4, we will chain 1 and turn. And then for row 5, we will do 1 decrease into the next 2 stitches. To do a decrease, you pull up a loop into each of the next 2 stitches, then yarn over and pull through. Then we will do 1 single crochet into the next until we get to the last 2 stitches. And at the last 2 stitches, we will do 1 decrease once again. Then we will chain 1 and turn to start row 6. For row 6, all we will do is 1 single crochet into each stitch across. At the end of row 6, we will chain 1 and turn to start row 7. For row 7, we will do 1 decrease into the first 2 stitches. And then 1 single crochet up into each stitch up to the last 2 stitches. Then in the last 2 stitches, we will do 1 decrease. Then we will chain 1 and turn to start row 8. For row 8, we will do 1 decrease into the first 2 stitches. And then we will do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then we will chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and then in the 3rd stitch we will do 1 single crochet, and then we will do 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches after that, sorry. And then we will do 1 decrease into the last 2 stitches. Then we will chain 1 and turn to start row 9. For row 9, we will do 1 decrease into the next 2 stitches. Then 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Then we will do 2 single crochets into the chain space here. This will be our buttonhole for the button that will be on the pouch. Then we will do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. This has got a lot of color over here. We got the pink and then the neon green, then now the blue. That's really pretty. Then we'll do 1 decrease into the last 2 stitches. After that, we'll chain 1 and turn. And then for rows 10 and 11, I think that's the next 2 rows. For the next 2 rows, we'll do 1 single crochet into each stitch. So just do that for rows 10 and 11. After row 11, we will finish off, so pull up the loop on your crochet hook. Then take your scissors and cut a short length of yarn, just enough so you can sew the end in, or crochet it into the edging of our flap. That's what we'll do next. Then we'll finish off. So open up the loop, then pull the end through the loop and pull. For the edging, we will take a new piece of yarn from our ball of yarn. Then we will attach it to one side, preferably the right side, of our flap. So right at the corner where the main piece and the flap meet, we will attach the yarn. I like to just pull the yarn into one of the stitches and then yarn over and pull through, like making a chain, and then crochet this end into what I'm about to work on. So next we'll just do 1 single crochet into each row of the flap up until we get to the actual top stitches of it. So I'll show you the whole thing here. So do 1 single crochet into each row. This makes it look more finished and more neat. Try not to go into the bigger holes, like sometimes the rows have big holes because of the decreases. For example, over here, you won't want to go into that big of a hole or else it'll make a gap in your piece. So just keep doing 1 single crochet into each row. And we're coming up on the top stitches now. So once you get to the corner, you can just do 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Then we'll do 1 single crochet into each stitch until we get to the next corner. Now that we're at the corner, we will just do what we did on this side, which is 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way, into each row all the way down. Once we've done that, we will finish off. So do the same thing as we did at the end of the flap. Then what I did for this first pouch was I took the end that I cut. First I'm going to cut this off because I actually crocheted this end into the piece. So what I did for the other one was I took the end from what we just cut, from crocheting the edging. Then I took my needle, threaded the yarn into the needle. Make sure it's a small needle so it'll fit into your button. Then what I did was I sewed it into the piece until I got to where the button is supposed to be. So I'm just going to pause right here. Then what we'll want to do is close the flap just as though we were closing it, and putting the button inside the hole. Then we'll keep our finger where the hole is. Then we'll know where the button's supposed to go. So you can either keep your finger on it, or you can use your stitch marker and then mark where it's supposed to go. And then sew the end into the piece until you get to where the button's supposed to go. Like that. Then we'll take the stitch marker off. Whoops. And we will sew the button on. So just take your button and sew it on. Now we are pretty much done with our mini pouch. All we have to do is sew the ends in. So I already have this end threaded onto my needle. So I can either I can just turn this inside out and then sew it into the piece to make all the everything nice and secure. Also, someone commented and said to go in like a sew one way and then go back and then sew the other way. So that's what I'm gonna do, because then it makes it last longer and not thread out as easily. Then do the same thing for your other end right here, and you'll be finished. Okay, so I just looked at who it was, and it was Deborah Heindel. Thank you. She said, I would recommend when you weave in your ends, come out, then go back in an opposite direction. That way they can't come loose in the wash and undo all your fine work. So thank you for the suggestions. Now we're finished with our mini pouch. So you can close it up with the button, and it's finished. So here are our mini pouches. I made this first one with Expression Fiber Arts' Resilient Sock Yarn, and the second one was the same brand, except I made it with their Sincere Sock Yarn. I really like how the button kind of accents the different colors that pop out in the yarn. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this project, and thanks for watching. Bye!